Hello, I'm Rob Phillips, and welcome to my channel, where I teach you how to live a more balanced and present life and unlock the best version of yourself through yoga and meditation. Today, we're going to be doing a Yin Yoga practice that's all about playing our edge. Now, before we even get started, I want us to understand that the edge we play in Yin Yoga is not our deepest edge. It's not the point past which we can't go any further. It's actually the opposite of that. We're going to cultivate the ability to play at just a very light edge, to do only what's really necessary, and notice how the whole body and system responds to that. In terms of props for today, I'm going to recommend having a couple of blocks and a blanket. And I do just want to remind you, in case you haven't noticed, my new course, Embodied Mindfulness, is now open. This is going to be an 8-week deep dive into Yin Yoga and meditation. If you want more information, please check out the link down below. Otherwise, to get started here, we're going to begin in a comfortable seat. As you find your seat, hands can rest onto the lap or onto the thighs. Close your eyes and begin to arrive here. Begin to settle. And notice how the body feels today. Notice quality of mind, what sort of mood you're in. Let yourself just be with that. Let yourself just really sit and rest in this experience, in this moment. How might you meet this moment with a greater sense of ease? How might you feel more calm and connection with whatever is arising for you here? And as we relax, as we settle, just noticing what you're feeling, because the sense of noticing is really integral to finding the edge, as we are going to today. Let's just sit here for a few more moments. Take a few more slow breaths. Let's take a deep inhale breath through our nose. Open up your mouth, exhale, and let that out. And drop down the chin and slowly open your eyes. From here, we're going to stay in our seat. Let's extend our two legs forwards here, and you can just let them relax and kind of shake out for a few moments. Find a clean reset with this. From here, though, we're going to set up now into our half butterfly pose. You're going to keep your left leg forwards. Take the sole of the right foot inside. Now, you could consider using a block under that knee. You want to feel no discomfort there. If you're not using your blocks under the knees, I think a good place to set them up would be under the hands. So you can set them up a little something like this. With that left leg relaxed, let's take our gentle inhale. Find some length, find some space. Exhale, come forwards, and I want you to find that point just where you start to really notice the pose, just where you start to feel a little bit of pull on the leg, maybe a little bit of pull on your back. Let yourself pause there. Let yourself land there and begin to relax. Begin to notice what the response is. Can you let go of any urge you feel that makes you want to push deeper? It makes you want to feel a stronger edge? And see if instead you can just rest near that light threshold. Just at that point where you start to notice the body is responding to what you're doing. And as you relax, the body may shift in space. You may find yourself going deeper. We're not trying to stop that, but what I want you to be really intentional with for today's practice is just working at that very mild edge. Creating just enough effect for the body to respond, but not so much that the body becomes tense This practice can actually be even more powerful when we do a little bit less. When we try not to push so hard into these poses. So let's feel that here for just a few more moments. Take just a few more slow breaths. Feel your final moment here in the pose. Gently start to inhale and rise up. You can remove any props out of the way and extend that right leg and just take a short pause. So close your eyes. Maybe you'll take like 2 or 3 breaths here and just feel that reverberation. Feel how the body is responding to what we just did. From here, we'll do the second half, of course. So keeping your right leg forwards, take the left foot inside. Again, be mindful that there's no discomfort in the knee. You may need to support it if that's what's showing up for you. Blocks under the hands can be nice, especially when we are, working at these very light edges as we are today. So with that right leg nice and relaxed, take your inhale breath for some length. Use your exhale breath to ease your way forwards. And again, pause at just the moment you start to notice the pose is having an effect. Not needing to push any further than just that light kind of initial threshold of things. As you find that edge, let the body relax. And as it relaxes, where that line is will shift. You may go further. But again, notice the difference between the body naturally responding to the work that the pose is doing, as opposed to kind of pushing or striving, which is how many people play their edge, which, as you imagine, is not the way I would recommend. What does it feel like to just be here? What does it feel like to just take in this experience? Can you relax and just be at ease within that? Keeping things at that very subtle threshold. Slowly begin to inhale and roll up from your fold. Take an exhale breath right there. You can relax, like roll out that leg and unwind the left leg. Let it move, let it reset as well here. And let's shift. Let's find our way into a child's pose. Now, just kind of like prepping for where we'll go, I'm going to recommend taking your blocks up into the front of the mat, taking your blanket and finding it in a fold like something like this. And then just with that set up, you can rest in child's pose. Let this be a neutral shape. Let the body bounce back for a good minute or so here. And while you're settling here, we continue to notice, continue to tune in. Feel where the body's at and feel the effects of working in this more subtle, this more gradual, patient way that we're exploring today. Let's take a long inhale breath through the nose. Long exhale breath out our mouth. From here, you'll begin to sit yourself upright. And we'll set ourselves up into dragon pose. Now, this is going to require a bit of nuance. So I want you to grab your 2 blocks, and we're going to step our left foot forwards. And in keeping with what I've been talking about, we're not going for like a huge stride. You want to be long enough that you start to feel just that little bit of pull on the hips. But again, stopping well before threshold of intensity, well before sharp sensations. If you find even this is a little too intense for you, lie on your back and hug your left knee into the chest. That's a good full modification for this. And as we settle in here, to regulate your edge, I'd actually encourage you to use your arms a little bit. So not like dumping into the wrists or anything, but we can let the arms support us so that we don't overdo it. Can you find just a light pull on the hips? Can you invite the body to just very naturally, very gradually respond to that here over time? And just notice what that's like for you. Just be here for this experience as it is. Take your final complete breath right here. Slowly start to come up and out, and I would invite you, if you'd like to move or reset, sway the hips, shake things out. Sit back and rest in child's pose. And like I always say, if child's pose is not comfortable, you could also rest on your belly. Find some place that is comfortable for your body. Let that be your neutral point, and take a few deep breaths here. Let yourself settle into that. Again, feel the delayed response of what we just did. Feel how the whole system is affected here by this work. We'll slowly start to sit ourselves up, and let's set up for the second side of things here. So same idea, you're going to want to pad your back knee, step that right foot forwards, and as you regulate, as you fine tune this again, we're not trying to go into like a huge stride. We're not trying to create an intense or overly dramatic edge. You want to come just enough that you feel a bit of pull. You feel that opening happening in the hips. But with that subtlety to it, with that nuance to it, use your arms to help regulate this. So in Yin Yoga, we relax, but we're not completely passive. We use selective engagement to regulate our threshold. Now, even working at a light edge means, or doesn't mean, there will never be resistance. And take some time for things to really open up for us and to really relax into that. But keep things on the more mild side and just little by little allow for the process to evolve and to unfold here. Can you be at ease within this experience? Can you let it be just what it is? Take a final complete breath right here. Slowly come out. And again, on your way out, I invite you and encourage you actually to move and to reset in whatever way feels comfortable, whatever way feels natural for you. And then just resting again in child's pose, assuming that's comfortable. If child's pose is not comfortable, find some place that is. Take some deep breaths there and just feel how the body is responding. Feel the various effects from what you've just done. Let's take a deep inhale breath through our nose and a long exhale breath out our mouth. Slowly start to rise up and come into a seated position. Now from here, we're going to set up into our dragonfly pose, which is different from dragon we just did. It's confusing, right? So dragonfly is basically our wide-legged straddle. So you might consider sitting like sideways on your mat, like I do when I demo facing the camera. So what we'll come into is a nice wide alignment here. You can even slide props under the legs if you'd want. In keeping with everything that I've been talking about, just be honest with yourself here. If there's a lot of tightness in the legs, maybe your light edge is to just stay basically tall here. In fact, I could work this way. I'm already feeling a bit of pull happening on my legs. Having said that, many of you may need to move forward. So when you're ready, if you'd like, start to lean in. But again, let yourself keep it extremely subtle here. Let there be no urge to try and force your way to the floor. Stop or pause just when we start to notice the pose is doing something and see what happens there. And you let the body relax. And you let the body really settle. Can you let go of that urge, of that drive we often feel to want to do more? And just linger here. Doesn't need to be any more than that minimum threshold. Just a few more moments here, just a few more slow breaths. Let yourself deeply drop into this through the short remaining time. Now take your final complete breath like you are here. Use a slow inhale breath and roll up, and you can relax a bit into the legs, relax a bit into your shoulders. Maybe even use your hands, scoop the legs in as you draw into the midline, and begin to shift and just find your way all the way onto your back. Now first here, we'll just take a short pause in neutral. You can basically come into like a shavasana where you spread out onto the floor. And just feel the spine settle, feel things neutralize. And let the system kind of bounce back after that longer forward fold. From here, next pose, quite simple, is a version of stirrup pose. And what I'd like you to do is draw the knees into the chest. Separate the knees a bit here. You start to feel release on the inner thighs, start to feel a release on your lower back. And by design, I'm encouraging a much more mild version of this than I sometimes do. So just kind of rest the hands on the legs. Let the shoulders relax, let gravity draw you down and towards the earth. Just notice what this feels like. Just be here for this experience. There's nowhere that we're trying to get. We're just allowing things to be here as they naturally are. Take a final complete breath here. Slowly release the legs, lower the feet down. Maybe even like do a little sway or a little shift for a few moments. Just kind of let that neutralize, let that all rebalance out. And from here, where we go, we're going to set up for a twist, but we're going to come into it differently than I usually have taught this. So what you'll be doing is first draw both knees into the chest and slowly roll all the way to your right side. So you're like basically in like a fetal position here. Now from your right, you're going to slowly roll your way over to the left and just allow for any natural shifts. Like notice my legs pulled apart a bit. Yours might do something similar. Kind of tracking my arm on the floor, letting it find its sweet spot here where it wants to linger. Once you've found that point, close your eyes. We'll settle here. So feeling, again, a more mild side stretch. The intention of coming in really gradually like that will help us to find that spot. Otherwise, though, remaining still, otherwise being here and connecting with what this experience is for you. We can take one more breath just like this. And slowly roll into the middle. And I'm going to take a moment if you want to shift, want to rebalance. Just take whatever steps you'd like for that. Let the body bounce back and integrate. But then when you're ready to here, you'll start to set up your second half of things. So this time draw the knees in and roll your way over onto your left-hand side. And from this almost like fetal position, any amount, begin to roll your way over and towards the right. And just allow for whatever natural shifts happen along the way. Let this feel really natural and organic. Line so that you feel just a light effect from that rotational movement that we're in here. Again, closing the eyes and just relaxing. Let the body be still. Let the body respond to the work that you've done. Take that all in here for the next few breaths, or the next minute or so. Take your final complete breath right here. Slowly begin to draw your way back into the midline. And as you come in, you can shift your legs a bit back and forth. Just let everything neutralize and let everything rebalance. Here now, take your time as you set up for a final rest, final Shavasana. So we extend our legs out onto the floor. Take up some space, so feel open, feel comfortable. Letting this neutral pose give you a chance to deeply integrate all the work we've just done. Let's take a deep inhale breath through our nose. Open up the mouth, exhale, and let everything go. Settle deeply here for the next couple of minutes. So just take a final few moments like you are and feel what is settled in the body and the mind. Rest in that stable place for a few more seconds. From there, when you're ready to, you can roll your way over to the side, gently press yourself upright, and close your eyes. Take a final moment here and just sit in this experience. Just connect with all of the shifts your practice has made along the way. And join the hands in front of the heart. As always, my thanks to each of you for sharing your practice. And as we say, the light within me salutes the light within you. Namaste. So again, and as always, thank you so much for sharing your practice. If you have any thoughts or questions, let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this each week. Finally, again, if you're curious about a deeper dive into some of the practices we explore on this channel, please check out my new course, Embodied Mindfulness. You'll find a link down below.